A long walk in the snow. Hello, everyone. I'm Jean-Claude at John Mystic, and welcome to today's special report. It is December 20th, 2024. How you guys doing in the live chat? Please let me know where you guys are watching from. So, as the title suggests here, it might have something to do with Canada. And you probably are wondering, is this a Canadian thing? What are you guys talking about? So, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us here today. We'll get into all of this here in just one moment. So, of course, I'm referring to this long walk in the snow from Pierre Elliott Trudeau. Following what he described as a long walk in the snow, Trudeau made a decision. He announced his resignation from politics in February of 1984. And so we're all wondering if his son is going to be doing that today. Because, of course, Pierre Elliott Trudeau is the father of Justin Trudeau. Now, that may or may not be the case. There's more and more rumblings to that effect, but that's going to be for another special report. So bear with me on that one. All right. So just a funny caricature here in the last 24 hours. It's snowing. Start walking. This, of course, is the Liberal Caucus suggesting that Justin follow in the footsteps of his father here in the deep snow in the Canada winter wonderland. So this is all following, of course, the resignation from Chrystia Freeland, our Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance here earlier this week. Now, if you haven't seen the special report and the aftermath that ensued, please do go and check out this report here called Freeland Resigns, Trudeau Panics. In there, we discuss what appeared to be the tactic behind Mr. Trudeau's decision and what Minister Freeland was trying to convey here by this resignation and where this leaves the Liberal Party in Canada here moving forward. So please do go check that out if you haven't already seen it. Now, Trudeau, since then, is canceling all of his meetings. He's canceling his traditional year-end interviews also. He usually goes on CBC and CTV and speaks directly to Canadians during Christmas. That is no longer the case, apparently, unless he puts it back on the schedule. He seems to be hiding away somewhere here on vacation. Now, what's interesting as that's happening, we're seeing an onslaught of mainstream media coverage really against Monsieur Trudeau. And it's kind of odd to see all of this. We saw the Toronto Star editorial board, which is a left-leaning newspaper here in Canada, asked for Trudeau's resignation just a couple of days ago. And on the mainstream news here, even CBC, they're letting their guests go very far here on their dissatisfaction with Monsieur Trudeau and the mounting resignation calls moving forward. So let's hear this clip from Kevin O'Leary on CBC News.
Someone who's no stranger to trade on both sides of the border. Kevin O'Leary is chairman of the O'Leary Ventures. He joins us now from Tucson, Arizona. Kevin, welcome back to the program.
Thank you so much.
Okay, let's start with your take here. You've been a vocal critic of Justin Trudeau as a Canadian entrepreneur. What do you make of the fallout here over the departure of Chrystia Freeland?
First of all, Freeland is the worst finance minister Canada's ever had because she's never run a financial institution. She started as a journalist. I'm sure she's a nice person, but that budget she just delivered gives you an idea of how incompetent she is. It's good she's gone, but she's not the real problem. It's Trudeau. I don't know if you've looked at any number you'd like to measure in the last 9 years. GDP per capita, capital flows out of Canada, the growth of the Canadian economy stalled out. The deficit, just this last horrific budget. I mean, I don't recall in my professional life seeing a collapse like this. That's why the Canadian dollar is in free fall. It's Justin Trudeau and his policies. And remember, we have to celebrate the fact, if you want to talk about longevity, he's been very successful as a prime minister, and he did it all without any executional skills. Now, the Canadian people pay the price, and it's just horrific what's happening to the country. Unbelievable mess.
Okay, it's embattled at home, mocked abroad. Kevin, Trudeau and Canada now becoming the target of U.S. President Donald Trump's roasts here. How does Canada manage this relationship with what is an unpredictable U.S. leader?
Well, let's talk about why this is happening to Trudeau and why he is embarrassing Canada so much. As you recall, in Trump's first mandate, both Freeland and Trudeau bashed Trump almost every day they could, thinking he would never come into power. He is a relationship guy. He doesn't respect or like Trudeau. He's said so much in the last 2 or 3 days, as well as Freeland, who he despises from NAFTA 2 negotiations. She's gone. He would love to get rid of Trump. And I think he's doing a good job embarrassing every Canadian internationally with what he's doing with all of this social media. And Trump realizes that he won't be negotiating NAFTA 3 with Trudeau. Trudeau's going to be gone one way or another, and that's a very good thing for Canada.
Okay, we'll leave it there for a moment here, and we'll come back to the Trump trade agreements and the border situation here with Canada also, maybe in another report in the next couple of days. So what's happening after that, of course, we saw that Justin Trudeau is on vacation, not taking calls, canceled all of his appointments. But what we're hearing now is that he is, in fact, preparing for a cabinet shuffle. We'll get into that here in just a moment. What was interesting, though, still mounting pressure from his MPs, members of parliament, asking for his resignation. We're seeing that more and more and more. There's also in Eastern Canada, I think 4 of the 6 Trudeau New Brunswick MPs are also calling for his resignation. But I thought that this particular interview with Vashi Kapelos on Power Play is very indicative here of the sentiment from most of the Liberal cabinet, but also the caucus. Let's hear this quick exchange here on these promises that everything is going to be okay by Mr. Trudeau and the response from his cabinet and caucus colleagues.
Look, you've been one of the more vocal public members of caucus asking the prime minister to reconsider and step aside. And this has been going on for months.
Yeah.
Do you detect anything discernibly different this time around?
Yes.
You do.
You know, I was told back in June and back in October that, you know, you're backbenchers. Many of you aren't reoffering, but you really need, you know, a Nancy Pelosi or somebody like that. Well, Chrystia Freeland is our Nancy Pelosi in my books. Obviously, she's a minister. She was at the prime minister's side, you know, for really over 10 years, a very Trudeau loyalist. And for her to come out with a letter like that, as blunt as it was, as direct as it was, and in particular, the timing, really, I think, was delivered that way to inflict maximum damage. It's a vote of non-confidence in the prime minister. It's a vote of non-confidence in our government. And from our standpoint, you know, we kind of learn as we go along. And I think the best intentions back when I did what I did in June, and obviously we did what we did in October. But there's kind of a new spirited movement amongst MPs. Clearly, we had 23, I'd say 23 to 30 before. I would say that's upwards of 45, 50 now. And I know people would say, well, how do you know it's 45 to 50? Well, just the conversations we're having, the new people that have come out. I mean, clearly, you can see in the media cycle, there's other MPs now speaking out. There is momentum, and you know nobody's jumping for joy.
So essentially, what he's saying is things are not like before. We've had disgruntled MPs before, but now the numbers are getting very, very large. I'm going to scroll to the end here because she's asking him about Trudeau's or the trust that the cabinet and colleagues have in Trudeau. He answers that question at the end here. Let me see if I can get to it.
He's delusional right now. I think that he's living in a false reality, and I think it's incumbent on those around him. It's a disservice to the prime minister that they're not telling him what Canadians are thinking or feeling. And, you know, one thing that is abundantly clear to me is the prime minister seems to feel that he knows better than the electorate or our party what will happen in the future. And, you know, 2 years back, we heard that
this is important.
We're down in the polls. At that point, I think we were down 8 to 10 points, but it will be okay. We will get through this. Then fast forward to London, we're 15 points down, and we've got a plan. Well, we never really did get a plan. Fast forward to now, we're 20 to 22 points down. And now it's, well, let's just wait till we get to the election. Canadians will wake up and Canadians will come to their senses.
Is there any chance that might happen? I mean,
No.
they're banking on the campaign, right?
Right.
They're banking on his ability as a proven campaigner.
Right.
Is there a chance that they're right?
No.
No, there's no chance that they're right. So that he's right, Mr. Trudeau. And so I think that's very indicative here, the delusional aspect of what this gentleman was talking about. So let's move down the deck here. Interestingly enough, also, Dominique Leblanc, who's now the new finance minister just appointed the other day, is saying that he respects the views of the fellow liberals who are calling for Trudeau's to resign, adding the PM's listening to complaints and will reflect carefully on criticism. Okay, that seems a little bit new from the prime minister. So far, he hasn't really listened, apparently, not just to the grassroots members, but also to his members of parliament. So that's interesting. Could be a little bit of a shift here in the strategy. Now, I saw this article, pardon me. Reports are coming in that Trudeau may resign before Christmas. And I was like, really? Is that the case? Because he's long past his expiry date, but so far, that has not occurred. He just keeps hanging on. And so let's hear what Jonathan Frakes has to say about that.
It's false. No way. Not this time. Like we created it. Not this time. No, not this time. It's totally.
So of course I'm having fun there with our Star Trek friend, but we've seen Trudeau fall time and time again, and yet not resign. So is this the time? We'll see if Jonathan Frakes is correct there or not moving into the next couple of days here. Now, Trudeau is planning to oversee a long-awaited cabinet shuffle. This is today. It's supposed to go live in about 20 minutes or so. This is an interesting strategy as well. Some would argue that moving the chairs around on the Titanic while it's sinking doesn't do much for the party or for the Titanic, which is the Liberal Party at this point. So there might be another strategy at play here. And this is where we're getting into the weeds, and I want to decode with you guys what I think could be happening in the background. First reading, how Trudeau could go clinging to power. So some people are thinking that he's doing these little moves here behind the scene to stay in power, although there could be suggestions that that is not the case. So the Trudeau shuffle here is putting fresh faces into cabinet today. That's interesting also, because in the last couple of days, the Liberals are out there saying, hey, we don't need an election. We just need him to resign. But we need to show a show of force here against Mr. Trump, who's coming into office in January and who's threatening Canada with these tariffs. Jagmeet Singh, the NDP leader, is also saying the same thing. He doesn't want to pull the plug, even though he's asking for Trudeau to resign. He's not pulling the plug on his support for this coalition government, and he's saying, no, we need to stand with a united, strong front here against Trump. Well, that's interesting, because what we're seeing now is that they're appointing new people to cabinet, and they're mostly, for the most part, backbenchers. So you're telling me that they want to go to war with Trump with the backbenchers? These are not the generals. These are not the colonels. These are not the captains or the lieutenants in this war. They're the backbenchers. So I find that very odd. And it seems a lot like what happened the day Chrystia Freeland was supposed to present her fall budget, which she was presenting in December. Lots of delays. You guys can ascertain why that might be. But let's hear this clip here from Pierre Poliver, who's explaining that nobody wanted the job after she resigned. Let's hear what he has to say.
Mr. Speaker, just to underline the chaos we're faced with here, the finance minister resigned the day she was to present the fall budget, which was going to contain a massive deficit overrun. The job then went automatically to the industry minister, who immediately resigned, like on the spot, which then went down the line. And the next person in order was the famous two Randys. And they're not available to do the job either. We're now less than 2 hours away from the fall economic update. Why won't the Prime Minister have the courage to come in here, present it himself, and put it for a confidence vote tonight?
So that was interesting. It's like, hey, let's get Bobby to do it. Bobby's like, I'm not doing it. Let's get Julie to do it. Julie's like, no, I'm not doing it. So it's kind of like everybody's jumping ship here. So this cabinet shuffle maybe is not what is being presented here. So we're going to watch that carefully here. We're at the Rideau Hall. Again, if you guys want to follow the link on CBC News on YouTube, you can see that live here. They're about to start in about 15 minutes here moving forward. So is Trudeau, in fact, ready for the walk in the snow? Let me break down with you why I think maybe, just maybe, that might be the case. So if you go here to foreignpolicy.com, there's an interesting article from earlier today. Is Trudeau ready to take that walk in the snow? You can go and read some of the opinion pieces there. But I think this is perhaps the clearest indication that might be the case, that he is in fact considering it, and there might be a strategy here with this cabinet shuffle to prepare the ground, so to speak, for him to walk on the snow. more particularly, Chantal Hébert brings up the important part here. So listen carefully to what she has to say.
That he's trying to find a way to stay, which in part I want to believe is comes from people who think the worst of Justin Trudeau, and maybe they're right. I'm hearing the opposite, that he wants to know how to go about a succession contest that doesn't spread over months. And by the way, the Liberals did move from Stéphane Dion to Michael Ignatieff within a matter of days and weeks.
That's true.
But on that basis, it would take most of the people who want to run for the leadership to think, let someone else take the hit in the next election, and then I'll run, and to let one person stand.
To let one person stand. So Trudeau thinking about succession right now, perhaps that is what is behind this cabinet shuffle. Let me know what you guys think in the live chat. Do you think that is what indeed he's preparing here? Things could get even wonkier in the next couple of days. So we'll have to see where the cabinet shuffle lands today. We have a couple of announcements of who is supposed to take place. As we said, this was leaked later last night. There still could be some surprises here today with the main announcement. But this is all in the backdrop of course, Canada having its dollar at the lowest level against the USD in the last 21 years. So we're at a critical standpoint here, and we very much need that leadership. And I don't think Trudeau or the succession at this point, if nobody wants the job and if they're asking all of these backbenchers to step up, can really fix the problems that are at hand here moving forward. So it's up to us, all the Canadians here, to bring that forward. But Canada too, oddly enough, they have their priorities maybe in the wrong place. Here, the Canadian military, this was just announced a couple of days ago, is deploying gender advisors to Ukraine in the midst of high inflation, of the highest deficit in Canadian history, the $62 billion that far surpassed the $40 billion guardrail that the Liberals had given themselves. This appears to be the priority for this government right now. It's not fighting Trump or the tariffs or anything else. So crazy, crazy world indeed moving forward. And I have to agree here with Pierre Poliver also on this idea that Trump is putting out here that Canada could become the 51st state here in the United States. Pierre Poliver is saying, no. Canada needs to stand strong and free and foreign. That's his position here. And he says that we need strong leadership here, not only to fight Trump, but to have good trade relationships with Trump so that we can share in this global economy moving forward. So I'm with Pierre on that. I really am of the opinion that we should fight for what Canada used to be, for the values of Canada. And on that note, like I was looking at this old photo. This is from the 70s or 80s. I was in the cadet corps with my brother. So you can see my brother at the top of the page there. I think he was sergeant at the time. I was a lance corporal, very young, but we were taught as young lads not only to fight for Canada, but to fight for its people and its values. And that's still very much in me today. I'm sure for my brother as well. But it's also in a lot of Canadians today. We're not the fringe minority that this government has tried to push us on the sidelines in the last number of years. We're still here. And I was just reminiscing, looking at all of these pictures, and I thought, oh yeah, the slogan for the Cadet Corps, the Royal Canadian Army Cadet Corps, or CAC, was "Acer Acepori." The meaning there is, as the maple, so the sapling. So in Latin, the motto means to convey that by becoming leaders in the cadet program, cadets will become community leaders in the future. Well, that's very much what I do here on the channel. We're creating leaders for tomorrow. And this sentiment is still very strong inside all of us. And I hope that people can join us in this fight. I think in this particular picture, I'm not sure if he's a master warrant or chief warrant in this picture here. This is one of his last commissions. Congratulations to my brother there, who just retired, by the way. So he's enjoying retirement right now. This is me, of course. I was a master marksman at this level. You can see the badge on my shoulder there, and I'm teaching younger cadets how to dismantle. This is a 308 Lee Enfield at the time. So we don't need to take rifles to support Canada. We just need to stand strong, and we need to stand in our beliefs, and we need to speak out when it's time to speak out. So I think all of you can join us doing that, whether you're here in Canada or anywhere else in the world. It's all about that. And I know that my grandfather, you can see him here on his deuce and a half. He used to bring munitions to the front line during World War II. So I'm sure that he'd be very proud of his of me and my brother here today. And I'm proud of not just our family, but of fellow Canadians who are asking for better. And we appear to be on that stepping stone now of major changes in Canada. If you look at Cliff High's WebBot data, we could be facing a newly constituted Canada in a very short term here. So it takes all of us, all of these young leaders and old leaders, really standing strong here for Canada moving forward. So what do you think, guys? Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. There's a lot of us still. There's more than enough for us to pull it through. So join me in that. If you agree with me, let me know in the live chat. So is it time for a long walk in the snow for Monsieur Trudeau? I believe so. It's definitely time. He's past his due date. Now, will he is the question. There appears to be now some setup in the background that could give him what he may perceive to be here an exit door where he doesn't lose face. In his view, I say in his view, I think in the rest of view of Canadians and mostly worldwide also, he's already lost face in all of this. But we'll see here in the next couple of days moving forward. Guys, while you're here, please do support us here on the Insider Access Pass. This is where we produce all of the Beyond the News content, the Beyond Crypto Woo content. This is the financial forecast every month and many other shows here. You support us in a great way for us to be able to produce these shows here on YouTube and also on Rumble. The Insider Access Pass is on sale now. This is the annual 50% discount. If you use the code IAP50 there, you have 3 days left to become an Insider Access Pass member. So big thank you to all of you there supporting the show. And if you're interested in taking some courses also, all of the courses, workshops, activations, and meditations, with a few exceptions here, are all on sale also on the Academy website. The promo code there for this annual discount is holiday 50, and there as well coupon code ends here on December 22nd. So if you're interested in any of that, please check it out here in the next couple of days. Now, speaking of the schedule, also we are going on holiday break. So starting December 23rd, all of the Beyond Mystic team will be taking a well-deserved vacation and break to spend time with their family and friends here and to rejuvenate so that we can come back on January 6th. Fighting the good fight for you guys, but we might be doing still more of these impromptu shows during that holiday break. So if you don't want to miss a beat there, please check the schedule page here on beyondmystic.net. Now, finally, the last show of the season here before we go on break will be this Sunday evening, December 22nd at 8 p.m. Eastern with the Wacky Woo. Jenny and I are going to be offering you guys this final holiday report before we go on vacation. So please stay tuned for that one and join us for that specific episode. So a big thank you to all of you watching us here today. Let me know what you think. I'm very curious in the live chat. Do you think that, in fact, Trudeau might resign here in the next couple of days? Give me a yes or no. That'll be interesting to see. Do you think the strategy here of moving the deck chairs on the Titanic will help save his reputation and his prime minister position? Let us know in the live chat. So anyways, I'm Jean-Claude at Beyond Mystic. I love you guys. This was the special report here. A long walk in the snow. I love you guys. Have a great day, and we'll see you again soon. Au revoir.